Last week, we finished fastening in the final bent frames, and then moved on to the deck structure, deciding on the camber of the deck, which will allow us to figure out the bevels for Arabella's clamp, which we'll make this week. But first, Joe has been helping us to put our giant thicknesser on a little stronger footing. You might remember a few weeks back when we burned out an electric motor while trying to find a better way to power the chip collector. That setup was never ideal, and since the remedy didn't quite work out, Steve decided to fix a bunch of other issues too, and just start over, beginning with a new metal base. When it's done, Steve says it should have enough power to send chips flying into the next county.
Life is so much easier with a backhoe. Just so much easier. Everyone should own a backhoe. Okay, I am ready whenever you guys are. What is the plan?
Right. We're going to hook 2 green straps with chains to the eye on the bucket.
Okay.
Then we'll start taking up slack on everything else.
Okay. That is one really heavy machine. It's right up there with the giant oak stumps all full of dirt and rocks. The only thing so far that this machine has struggled to lift.
It did all right. Move it into place with the bottle jacks.
Yeah.
Alright, I've got my slack out.
Okay, me too. So let's just slowly rush it forward until this rig starts to move. Okay.
Go a couple more. Whoa! And we can maybe get the house over. That be okay?
We don't necessarily have to get the house over it as long as we can tarp it well.
Yeah.
Just having the motor on here or close to it would be enough. Because I assume it's going to be easier to bolt it down and do everything without the house on it.
Yeah, it's kind of snug inside the house.
I'm not in like a huge crazy rush to get the house over it, but I do want to make sure that it's not all
We got to
out
cut
and
this,
exposed.
at least.
Yeah. So why are you milling it this way and not just having the head down and pushing the table into it?
Because at this speed, the end mill doesn't like that much of a cut, even taking shallow cuts. So the end cutting is doing better. The end mill is getting tighter.
Why don't you just slow the machine down?
As slow as it goes at the time. Has to be repaired to do that.
Ah, so there's something wrong and it won't go into low speed?
Yes. Adjusting
Right,
the belt in and out.
right.
So I got to get it far enough over. We'll get the belt on it. We'll get it squared up.
Right.
And then I got 12 holes to put.
Say 12 holes?
Yep.
Why 12?
4 for each plate and 2 for each of the
Adjusters?
adjusters.
So these timbers here are going to make up Arabella's clamp, and the clamp runs on the inside of the planking from stem to stern on the inside of the frames and helps lock in the deck structure. So the clamp goes in and then the shelf will sit on top of it. So these came out of 3 boards. They're 1/4 sawn white oak, split them down the middle, and we'll scarf these together with some mechanical scarves. We won't glue them. So I got to go out and put the pile back together and get the cover on it, and I've got a mountain of emails. I've been sorely neglecting those lately. So I'm going to take the afternoon, hammer out a bunch of emails. So if you've been waiting to hear from me, maybe you will today. And then tomorrow is supposed to be 97 degrees Fahrenheit here, which is entirely too hot for me. I am not made for that weather, and I haven't taken a day off in a while. I'm going to go enjoy a little bit of fishing and a little bit of R&R, and I'll see y'all in a day and a half, and we'll get to making Arabella's clamp. So these are the timbers that we were going to make the clamp out of, and they're going to get joined with a hook scarf. So this is the pattern that we used for the hook scarf, and you can basically imagine what's going to happen here. The other piece will get cut to match, so the ends will nib in, they'll have a nib in the middle, and then these will get through bolted. Since the clamp doesn't need to be watertight, we can just put in a mechanical scarf like this. So the next step for Casey and I is to go through and get all of these scarf joints cut, and then we'll lay it all out, clamp it together nice and tight, and then we will cut it out. So we got to cut a bevel on the top edge and a bit of an arc on the bottom edge, because they need to taper from midship out to the stem and stern. But it's a bunch of really nice oak, and I'm really looking forward to getting it all cleaned up and a coat of oil on it. I think it's going to be really pretty. And in that vein, yesterday Casey and I brought up the jet drum sander here and the dust collector. And once we get these cut out and all finished up, we're going to run them through the drum sander, make them all really nice and smooth, and take out the planer marks. And then there's some product on the way from Jamestown to seal them all up, because a bunch of these are quarter sawn. Actually, they're all quarter sawn. And I don't know if you can see here, but there is some pretty awesome ray fleck. And all of that, once it's sanded and varnished, oiled, is going to really, really pop. So, next step is to cut a bunch of scarves. So that's one cut. It's really, really close. And I think it's close enough that we'll cut the other ones out, and we'll do the very, very final fit when we're fitting one to the other. Yeah, I got one down. How are you doing? Coming.
Okay, just need to take off a little bit on that side, make it square. The other thing, come a little bit above this line. Yeah, just come a little bit, yeah. So what I'd say is let's just walk down the boat and let's put all of those in, and then we can come back and one of us can pick up the bevels and one of us can record the bevels. Okay.
A big thanks to all of you that support us on Patreon and help us make these videos each week. Just subscribing to the channel is another way to show your support, so hit that button if you haven't already. Next week, we'll check on the stock we're using for knees and start working on those, while we finish building and installing Arabella's clamp. See you next week.